No, 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 you don't really need to create. I want you can create new design file as I'm teaching you. You can create new design file and you can be following me. So let's start with the menu icon. So this is Figma menu icon. Can you all see my screen?
We can, we can.
Okay. This is Figma menu icon. Under menu icon we have file. You can create a new design file or a new Figma jam file. Don't worry, we will be using Figma jam later, or you can be using Mirror, for anyone. Figma have two type of file: Figma design file or Figma jam file. So Figma jam file is like this. You can just brainstorm with your group member, you can't design really there, that kind of stuff. It's just for collaboration.
Sorry, oh, please, baby, please mute your mic, I beg.
So this is file. You can create new design file or new Figma file, and you can create a new from sketch file. If you have we don't only use Adobe XD and Figma for UI UX design, we also use Sketch. But me, I don't even know anything about Sketch. I've never used it before, although I've actually code something from Sketch before, but that's all I know about Sketch. It's not really user friendly to me. So moving on to the next one, you can place image and you can save local copy. If you want to save a copy of file to your computer locally, you can save a local copy. You can save to version history. So if you are saving to version history, for example, you design today and den you come back tomorrow, you design something else, you realize dat you already scatter all your design, and you can go back to your previous version history, dat is what you design yesterday, and save to dat very particular history. And you can see all version history by showing version history. You can export file and you can export frames to what? To PDF. If you have many frames or anything, you can export it to PDF. And den we also have the edit, the normal edit: undo, copy as, paste as selection, pick colour, select all, select inverse. Dats under edit. We also have view. If you are viewing, we have pixel grid. So there are some little terminologies in design dat you really need to know. Figma, Adobe XD, or let me say all dis design softwares, dey design in pixel. Dey design in pixel. If I should zoom in like dis, can you all see dis shapes? Dis square shapes?
Yes.
Yeah, dis are one pixel each. If you should snap a picture like dis, someone make a screenshot of the picture, post it on the status, someone else screenshot dat very particular picture again, and den. By the time you realize it, you realize dat you can't really see what is inside the picture anymore, because everything will become much more blur. That's because it has been pixelated. If something is pixelated, then it's showing in pixel. So we have pixel. In design we have pixel, we have SVGs. So pixel is the foundation of any form of shape. Any form of shape, anything you draw, anything you write, anything you do in design are pixels combined together to form that very the pixel combine together to form that very particular shape. If we should draw, like for example dis letter L, you can see how many pixel we have inside dis letter L. You can see you can see the amount of pixels inside dis letter X. And if you should snap it to pixel grid, you'll be able to drag it without being dragging in one pixel each. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Can hear you, sir.
Hello?
Yeah, you are talking about pixel. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know.
My network is really slow. I will leave now and I will join back.
Okay, okay. Yeah. Is network
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I snap this very particular shape into pixel grid. So I can see here myself. Akintunde, please mute yourself. Hello? Yeah, I was thinking it's my network, so I can actually hear myself back. That's the reason why I was like, maybe my information is getting delayed or something. So this is pixel. Everything in design is what is made up of pixel. And then we have this very particular pixel that is not in form of a specific, let me say, a confined shape that has curve. That is where SVG comes in. Any form of design element that are not in pixel form, that are not confined to a particular spec or a particular pixel, that have a smooth edge and can easily be scaled are what are SVG files. Is it clear?
Please come again.
I said any design element, please mute yourself. Yeah, I said any design element that can be scaled without losing its value or its texture or anything are what we call pixels. For example, let me make a screenshot of, can you all see pixel? Can you all see that my shape, my image, or let me say my avatar is made up of what? Of pixel of different type of color. Can you all see?
You can.
So for example, if I scale it more, can you see that everything is still in pixel joined together, because that is what? That is an image file. But let's now use something like a text. Let me use this text to explain. If I change it to bold and I flatten it, no matter how much I scale it, the shapes are still intact, the edge are still smooth, and everything is still intact. That is what we call SVGs, because they can't be pixelated. anything that can be pixelated, any shape that can be pixelated and its properties can easily be altered easily are SVG files. You can change the color of this one and you can't change the color of this one because it's an image. So do you all know the difference between an SVG file and a pixelated type of file? Can you hear me?
You can.
So you also have two type of file too. We have two type of file. We have, like I said earlier, we have XVG file, something that can be pixelated and no matter how much you scale it, the shape will still remain intact. Even if it's very small, it will still remain intact because it's SVG file. And we have another type of file which is what? Which is PNG. PNG are more like normal images but they can come in form of a transparent background images. For example, this pixel text, you know it has no background, right? Currently, let me now export the file in PNG file as a PNG file. Can you all see? Can you all see that it has no background? But let
Yeah.
me export it as a JPEG file. Can you see that it automatically has a white background because I'm exporting it as a JPEG file? So that's the difference between a PNG file and a JPEG file. They are both images, but one can come with no background and the other can't come with no background. So these are the three main type of files that will be needed in Figma design. Even if you go to any website, it's either you have SVG file or you have a PNG file or you have a JPEG file. PNG and JPEGs are the images and SVGs are the icons, and yeah, SVG are mainly the icons and any form of shapes on the platform. So those are the three main type of file we'll be working with in Figma. Let's move to the next one. Let's forget object for now. Text, arrange vector, plugins. Then we have Figma plugins. When you are designing in Figma, for you to make your work very easy, you'll be needing plugins. For example, this very particular plugin, material design icons. Instead of me sitting down, okay, I want an icon for Facebook, I will now go and draw Facebook on its own, Facebook icon on its own, and be looking for it because I need an SVG file. You all know what I mean by SVG file, right?
Yes.
So if I want to, if I want, let me, if I want any form of shape on the platform and I want to be able to like alter the color or any of its properties, then you must use an SVG file. So that's the reason why SVG file is very important in design. So I want a Facebook icon. Instead of me sitting down and drawing Facebook icon myself, that will take me like 2 hours just because I need a Facebook icon. I can just go to the plugin and get my Facebook icon. This is for Facebook Messenger. If you want Instagram, they have Instagram o. Same thing goes to LinkedIn. Can you all see? So if you need any form of
Yes, sir.
icon, that's the work of Material UI, Material Design Icon Community. And we also have another icon which is random shapes. Drawing shapes might be somehow stressful, and with these random shapes you can just draw any form of shape. This one is a super shape. You can draw another one, any form of super shapes. You can draw a polygon, irregular polygon, any form of polygon you may need it in the design with this one. And you can also draw a bulb shape. People use bulb a lot in design. Me sef I normally use bulb. So you might want to use bulb as the background or as a supporting element in design. And we also have wave. So that's the work of this very particular plugin. And I will share you a link to a YouTube link where you can see like all the essentials plugin you should have in design. And there is also one more plugin which is Figma token. Yeah, this Figma tokens. Yeah. So this is Figma tokens. Whenever you are creating your design, maybe you want to design a website, you give it a normal sizing, you give spacing like your passive spacing, you give your color, you can list all your colors there, you can list the kind of border you are using, the border radius, the kind of border width, the set of opacity you are using, the box shadow, typography, font family, font weight, anything. The reason for this is because once you are done creating those kind of effects, for example, let's create a font kini for this font one, and then we import, yeah, can you all see the font I just imported? The font family is what? Is Inter. The font line height auto, font weight regular, font size 12, letter spacing 0%, paragraph spacing. It will give you all the attribute of the design. And the reason for this is because whenever you are done with your design, whenever you are done with your design and we want to hand over to your developer, you can just hand it over like this as a JSON file. And once you hand it over as a JSON file, let me open the JSON file for you. Yeah, can you all see this? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, you can. You can.
Okay, so these are the
So
attributes
these
of
are the
any form of
attributes of
element.
any form of element.
Once you hand it over to your
Once you hand it
developer,
over
it
to
will
your
make job
developer, it
easier
will
for
make
your
job
developer.
easier
So
for your
that's part of the
developer.
role of a
So
UI
that's
UX
part of the
designer. You
role of
have
a
to make
UI
everything.
UX
Please
designer. You
mute
have
yourself.
to please mute yourself.
Okay.
You have to make everything easy for your developer. You understand? So that's the reason why you have to create a very good design system with Figma tokens. That's the function of Figma tokens. It's used to create design system. And many of you might be asking, what is design system? So this is a typical example of design system. I created the kind of typography I created all type of typography for the design, the kind of colors I use and their variants with their hex code, the components I used, the animations and everything that I use in the design that the developer might need to like implement first before they start implementing the design for them to make work easier for them. So that is a very good design system. Even if you are using an input form whereby people will have to enter details or something, it must be uniform and you must make it in components. That is a very good design system. So moving on to the next one after plugins, preferences. You can either set or snap to geometry, snap to preset grid or snap to anything. All these settings are things you can really learn and they are not really something very bad. For example, this snap to pixel grid, if I'm moving this object, you can realize that I can move it freely like this, and then you realize that you are having some kind of extra decimal on your x-axis and y-axis here. You are having 0.6, 0.51, and you don't want something like that. You want it to be in form of in a multiple of one pixel each. Then you can use you can change this to snap to pixel grid. Since I snap it to pixel grid, any form of movement I make will be in a multiple of one pixel. Can you see? So that's the function of that. And then we have libraries. Once you click on libraries, you go to Figma libraries online so that you can check out all form of libraries you have. That's all about the menu icon, and let's go to the main deal. All those ones are subordinate, and let's go to the main deal now. The main deal is this very particular icon, which is the move icon. It is used to move any form of object from any position in the design. That's the form of the move object. Move icon, right? Sorry, move icon. So move icon is used to move any form of object, and we also have a scale icon. Is used to scale an object. Can you all see? If you want to scale this object, you can use the scale icon, or and if you are scaling it, you realize that both the length and breadth are changing all by themselves. If you want to avoid that, you can just click on what? On this link. If you are not, you can just unlink the two together. Once you unlink it, you can move it like this or like this, and it can also be like this. And also, if you press alt button, alternative button, if you are moving from this side, it will automatically move from the other side too. Same thing goes here. But if eventually you don't want to click on this, or you don't want to do anything and you want everything to move together, you can just press shift button while moving your shapes. It automatically scale in and out without it losing its proportions. Is it clear? So moving on to the next button, which is frame, but in most design platform like Adobe, all Adobe suite, you find it as artboard. So frame and artboard are the same thing. Their main function is for you to create a space for you to design in. For example, maybe you want to design a flyer and you draw a frame. All the con ten t of your flyer will be inside this frame. Maybe you have a picture, you have a text, and you have some other stuffs. So since you are designing inside your frame, you can automatically export the frame and everything will come out as a single object. For example, if you export it as PNG, can you all see our frame now? This is the frame we just exported. You grab. So that's how frames work in design. Moving on to the next one, which is shapes. We have different type of shapes here. We have rectangle, we have line, we have arrow, we have ellipse, we have polygon. For example, if you should draw a triangle and you want to increase it to, let me say, an octagon, which is 8, you can just change the amount of side you want on the sidebar here. Shey you grab. So that's all about shapes. We have, and you can change it. You can also change it to, let me say, to any form of, for example, let me say you want something that has about 20 type of shapes, and then you also want to cut out another shapes inside of it, then you can give it, let's use 18. and then you want to cut out something of 5 side inside of it, then you have your shape. Can you all see? Very easy. That's about shape. And also we have star. Star too is 5 sided, right? And you can also increase the number of side you want on it. And you can also reduce too. So that's all about shapes. And under shapes, you have the last one, which is place an image. If you want to place an image, you can just bring down the image and then you place it. But instead of you wasting your time going through those stress, just bring your image directly and then paste it. That's it. The next one is pen tool and pencil tool. Both of them are used to draw. This is pen. You can draw any form of shape with this and join it together. That's pen. And once you are done drawing your shape, you click on done. If you want to draw curve, once you click on the first point, then you click on the second point. While you don't really necessary to hold anything, but you will not release your what, your left click. Okay, you will left click on the second point and then you won't release it. You will now draw it to any angle to form any form of curve you want. Do you all understand?
Yes, sir.
So that's about curve. And then we have pencil tool. Pencil tool is used to draw any form of shape. For example, maybe you want to draw a circle that doesn't have, you don't want it to have a confined type of shape, then you can use pencil. Can you see? That's the work for pencil. And we have text. Text is used to write normal text now, write anything. And then we have, they just introduce this one, which is widget. You can see your components, your plugins and your widgets here. So those ones are will come later, will come in hand later. The next one is what? Is move to, or let me say hand to. Hand to is used to drag the whole page. For example, I'm here and I want to see what is on the other side without me scrolling using any form of mouse or anything. I can use hand to drag whichever stuff that I'm designing. And instead of you using hand to, you can just click on space to, you can hold space and then drag whichever stuff you want to drag instead of you going down to click hand to. So we have the last one, which is comment. If you realize that someone is making some kind of mistake on your design, you can just add comment. This is very bad. So once you add it, whichever person that is on the file too will automatically see the comment and come here to read the comment, which is, this is very bad. And once the person make changes, he can mark the comment. And that's all about comment. So this is edit object tool. If you want to edit any form of object, can you see this object? Maybe you want to add another point and you want to draw any form of shape. That is what the edit object icon works for. Maybe you want to edit form of, or any form of object, even this pixel. Once you click on it, you can edit it. You can edit your X like this. You want it to be like this, in any form of shape. And that's about the edit icon. The next one is component. Create component. So if you are designing, you really need component in your design, because for example, let me find a very big file.
Sorry, I can't see all those stuffs in my own Figma.
You can't see all those ones.
Yes.
click on a particular object you create, you will see them.
Like my own, I can't see that sketching of a thing that you sketch your picture, like your picture is looking not very clear. Like I cannot see it on my own system.
That's because the quality is very small. Do you understand?
So I still can't see the great.
No, I don't understand you.
If you don't understand, okay, just copy an image to your design file. Once you copy the image, then zoom in, hold the control button and then zoom in, zoom in until you see the pixels for those files. Then you realize that all the shapes in your image, in your picture, are built up with pixels. The better amount of pixel, the better the quality of the image. If the pixel is very small, then your image will be pixelated. It should really show that, okay, it will really show the pixel inside your image. So that's how pixel work. Is it clear now? Can you see it? Hello?
No, I can't see it. Yeah.
You can't see what?
Those other four components, like at the middle of the, or at
Click
the middle
on
of the.
click on something, click on something in your design, or you should type something or anything. But draw any shape.
So you said once you upload a
Okay, I've
picture,
seen it. Thanks.
you said once you upload a picture, you zoom and zoom until you get the pixel.
Yeah.
Like sorry, the pixel itself, is it a design or I don't, or is it a scratch? Like I don't get it.
Any form of design element is made up of pixel, like I saw, like I said jare. Any form of design element is made up of pixel, and their pixels join together to form shapes. So if you should like the way I'm zooming in, you can see all these shapes. These are pixel and those are the like smallest value of a design element. If anything is more is smaller than a pixel, then the stuff is actually a total bullshit. You can't even see it. Even you yourself, you can't see a single pixel with your single eye, with your eye, because your phone normally has a width of about 400 pixel. Imagine joining 400 shapes together on a straight line. That's the width of your phone. That's the reason why any object you are seeing, anything you are seeing on your phone looks like something very real, and they are actually pixels joined together to form those very particular image. Is it clear? Hello? So is
Yeah,
that,
well,
is it clear?
yeah.
I don't think it is clear the way you are sounding. Okay, for example, let me try and explain using this one again. Can you see all these shapes? You can see one, two, three, four, five. So these are pixels. And if you now check this very particular design, you realize that this design is made up with different shapes. Can you see the shape?
Yeah.
This picture. So the reason why it's showing this way is because of is of a very low quality of pixels. And if you should count the pixel from here to here, you realize that it's very small. Can you see those shapes? So the larger the amount of pixels in a picture, if a picture has a very high percentage of pixel, you want to snap picture, okay, if you want to check your iPhone settings, you will see the settings resolution. Shey you grab, you see the settings resolution, and sometimes if you want to preview videos, if you want to watch videos, you see 720p pixel, you see 1080p, you see 4K resolution. So reason for 4K resolution, you've all learned, sorry, you all have heard about 4K resolutions, or let me say 1080p, or now 1920p, or any form of resolutions. You can go online and search for resolutions, and resolution are made up of pixels. So the amount of pixels in that very particular design of videos that you can actually see at the same time is what is made up of the resolution. So once something is very small, then you realize that okay, this thing is actually pixelated, that you are not enjoying the quality. So the larger the amount of pixel, the brighter the quality. That's all about
Okay,
pixel.
like what I understand is it only for the picture that the pixel come in? What about
It goes
text?
in text too, but the reason why text is not showing like this, just the way this one is because it's an SVG shape. It's made up of, can you see the box now? Can you see that they are pixels joined together in different form of shapes?
Yeah, yeah.
But the reason why it's not showing is because it's an SVG shape. SVG have a smooth edge, meanwhile a normal picture that is just made up of pixels only doesn't have a smooth edge. Hope you grab now. It doesn't have a
Yeah.
smooth edge. That's the reason why everything will be pixelated. SVGs can, no matter how much I change this shape, everything will still like work straightforward. That's SVGs. You can read about SVGs and JPEG and JPG and PNGs online so that you can have full understanding. Hope you grab.
Yeah, sorry, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do I get different kind of fonts? Because I tried typing just with the text and
Normally we have Figma has so many fonts on its own, but if you want to use some other fonts, you can just go to Google and download any form of font that you want.
okay. Then I'll now use it there.
Yeah.
But okay, all right, that's fine.
Okay, sir, right done. Continue.
All right. So moving on to the next one, which is mask. Yeah. This icon is used to mask an object, just the way I did this one. We have this shape and we have this shape. I want this shape at the top. Okay, let me use a picture this time around. I want this picture to show inside this shape, right? And I don't really know how to do it. That's where the mask icon come in, or mask tool come in. So if you want to mask any object, for example you want to mask this shape tool, let me give this one. You want to mask this shape, and you want to mask the shape too. You want to mask them on this very particular shape, right? Everything, both the circle, the pixel and the picture. So you will send this very particular shape to the back. If you want to send anything to the back, you just press Ctrl Shift bracket, open bracket, Ctrl Shift open bracket, and it will go to the back. Or you can just right click and you see send to back. Can you see? Or you can bring it to front, or you can send it to the back. But if you want to send it to the front of, let me, for example, let me bring it to the front, and you want to send it, you want to send this very very yellow shape to the back of this very particular shape, then you just press, oh, you pick the yellow shape and then you press Ctrl. Instead of you pressing Shift, you just press the back button, or the open bracket I mean. Can you see? So but right now we want to mask everything inside this very particular five-sided shape, or let me say hexagonal shape. Once you send the shape to the back, and then you will highlight everything. Once you highlight everything, you will right click. You can use as mask here. Can you see? Or you can just click on this icon. Is it clear now?
No, please come again.
No.
Okay. You want to mask all these shapes, this one and this one. You want it to only show inside this very particular shape, right? You will send this shape to the back. you all know how to send shape to the back now, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay, then you will highlight everything
Not really.
together. Not really. If you want to send shape to the back, press control plus shift.
Please, can we use control then page up or page back for it?
um
Can we use control, like we click on control, then we use page up or a shift, then page up or page back?
Yes, yes. Just press control shift. Like once you right, you can even right click instead of you using this control shift, but this one will be faster because you can't be waiting to right click or do any, you can't be wasting your time on small small issues like this. Then you can just right click. Once you right click, then you what, you bring it to the back or you bring it to the front. Is it clear? And is it
I
clear
think
now?
so.
um
Yeah, it's clear. This one you did now is better than the control stuff.
Okay, I'm just giving you shortcuts, and also I've already created a shortcut key. I will send you the link so that you can know how to use shortcut easily. You can just learn everything. So once you click on everything and you already send the shape to the back, you now highlight everything. Make sure that the shape you want to mask everything in is the one at the back o. Den you right click. It's either you right click use as mask. Once you use as mask, it automatically form, or instead of you right clicking, you can come here and den use as mask here. Is it clear? Sorry, is it clear?
Sorry, is it clear?
Yes, yes, sir.
Alright.
It's better now. Yes, yes, I understand.
So moving on to the next one, which is component. So let me just show you the reason why you need component. Component is needed for consis ten cy. For a design like dis, dis one doesn't have. Okay, can you all see my screen? Yeah. So for a design like dis, we have button. I created dis button as a component, right? Let me go back to design file. So dis is a button. Once I click on component, I turn dis to a component. So let me duplicate dis button now. You can all see dat we have.
Sorry, how did you duplicate them?
Just press Ctrl D to duplicate. And the main component, dis is the main component, right? The component I created, and dis ones are the duplicate, right? Do you all understand?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. So let's assume I change the color of dis one now to blue. Can you all see dat the color changes across any other form of duplicate I made from dat component?
Yeah.
If I change the text color to black, can you see? Even if I change the text, can you see? So that's the main function of component, to create consis ten cy and to make changes easily. So if you are designing, make sure dat most of your components, something dat you know dat will definitely come up again in your design, make sure dat is in component for you to make easy changes. But you will now be wondering, why will a button will have okay contact us, another one will have about us, we have a contact us, we have a about us button. Since we can change dis one from here, how are we going to be able to change the text from, let me say, from a particular component without affecting others? Okay, dis is how it is. Dis one is about us, right? Since it's a duplicate, it can never change. Do you grab? It can never
No.
change others. Since it's a duplicate, it can never change others. That's what I mean. Do you grab? But if you are
Yes, I
changing the main
understand.
component, it will change others. And also, you know, I already changed dis one to about us, and then I now want to change dis one to contact us. The changes will only be reflected in a file, in a let me say, in a duplicate file that I have not yet altered, which is the rest. You know that our about us is not changing, only the rest are changing to contact. Can you all see?
Yes. Yeah.
And also, if you change dis one colour to blue and you change dis one to white, now decide to change dis one to green, can you all see dat the colour too is not changing again?
Yeah.
So that's how, if you are working with different type of, if you know that you will be making some kind of required changes to your component, although it's still same thing, any other properties are still the same, but the ones you make changes to can never change. Hope you grab now. But
Yeah,
if you
I
still
also
want,
ask that.
you said?
This your component is rectangular. How do
Yeah.
you like change the shape? Assume that you want to change the shape to that of initial shape that was in your initial diagram, like your initial. It was something you copied that login out from that picture that you showed that login. So how do you change that kind of shape from
You can
using?
give it a border. We are coming to that place. You can give it a border radius.
Okay. Okay. This is cool. This is cool. Thank you very much. I love this.
Yeah, so anyone you can I'm just telling you about components, and there is also another form of components. Maybe you might have go to some website, let me say Facebook, let me go to Facebook, I don't know, let me go to Facebook. Okay, let's even use this as Google Meet for example. You can see um you can see this icon, this one that have more width compared to the other icons here. Can you all see? Hello, can you all hear
Yeah.
me?
Yeah. Yes.
I can see it.
Yeah, so we also have this button too, which is stop presenting, another one which doesn't have this very particular background. So these are variant of buttons of shape or element. So these components you can decide to change it to and give it another variant. If you click on a particular component, there will be an icon here to add a variant. Once you add a variant, you can decide okay, this variant will be in active button, you can name it in active button, and then change the properties. Can change it to something like this. Yeah, can change the properties. So any form of, maybe you've already copied something from this component before, copy any component here before, any of the variants, you can just come here and okay, I want to use the default variant, or you want to use the new variant, it will automatically change. Do you grab? So that's how components works, and it's very good for you to like learn more about components. I'll be sharing resources on components and everything, and I will also be sharing some files for you to get started. Hope you all grab now. So moving on to the next one, which is we are done with. Yeah, we are done with it. Remaining this icon, this is union selections. I've already explained how union selections works before, if you are paying notice or paying attention. For example, you draw a rectangle, but you don't actually want a rectangle, or let me say a square. You actually want an hollow square. Let me duplicate it. You want an hollow square like this. You want a space in between. That's what I mean by an hollow square, right? So you want a space in between. You will just create the shape you want, the space you want in between. You will create it in form of shape, and then you place it on the main components you want to do. Yeah, and then you create it on the main components you want to create the hollow shape from. So once you just click here, you can either select merge or you subtract. So when you are subtracting, as you can see, the shapes at the top is the one that, this very particular box at the top is the one that you are subtracting from the one at the bottom. Hope you can see. Then we are subtracting this very particular shape from this one. So once you click on subtract, it automatically forms the whole. And also, if it's not subtract, once you click on insert, then you want a shape. Okay, you want a shape whereby, let me use something else to explain. Maybe you have a circle here, and you want this very particular section only, where the circles merges with where the circle intersects with this very particular triangle. Then you can use this intersect selections. Can you all see?
Yes, I can see it.
So the next one is extrude. You don't want you want to like extrude this very particular part out where the two shapes merge together. Then you can click on extrude, and it automatically forms. And the last one is what is merging. Once you merge the two together, they both turns to a single shape. Hope is clear now. Do you all
It's clear.
understand?
I understand.
Alright. So moving to the left bar, left, or let me say sidebar. On the left sidebar, you have list of pages, and you have list of what? Of all the layers, and elements in your design. So whichever elements you are creating, anything you are creating are in form of layers. This very particular shape is the one at the top, and if you should move it down, it automatically comes below this very particular shape. As you are creating shape or creating element, they all comes above, or else you change the hierarchy of all those shapes. Is it clear what I mean by that? Sorry, do you all understand?
No, I didn't get that.
So can you come again?
Okay, let me create three different shapes like this. This is rectangle one, that's the one at the top, right? If I should duplicate it, then the new duplicate will be at the top. So these are layers. That's how design works. Designs are layers. It's just as if it's block. Although you might be placing the blocks in different positions, but they are still in form of layers. Like one is below and one is above. That's how design works, and they all works in layers. So if you now want to change the position of this one, maybe you want it to come behind, for example, you want this red to come behind this very particular triangle, you can just move it from here and move it down, just the way you are using control the other time, or you are right clicking and you are sending it to the back or to the front. So everything here is in form of layers. Everything on this page is in form of layers, and you can move it to the top or to the bottom. And you can also merge layers and subtract layers. You can also group layers. So this is what I mean by group layers. Just the way we have this one. Once you click on Control G, you group it, or you right click and click on group selections. So they now turns to a single layers, and when once you top they now turn to a single layer, and once you double click on it, it automatically goes inside the group. Den you can see all the layers inside the group also. So whenever you are creating group, all the elements in groups too are in form of layers, but just the way you want it to show as one, since you already grouped it. Hope you understand. So and we also have pages. This is one of the advantages over Adobe XD. Adobe XD you can only design in a single page, but Figma you can create as many pages as you want. For example, maybe you want to differentiate the page whereby you are the page whereby you are designing your mobile application, you want to differentiate it to the one for web application. You can just create a new page, name it web application, and this one is mobile application for easy navigation in your design. Do you all understand? Sorry, is it clear?
Understand.
Yeah, just the way I have this one. I have a page for tumbling, I have a page for my main design. That's the best way to structure your design so that you won't be having clashing form of designs. Maybe you are designing both mobile and web together, it might be confusing the developers and be causing so much trouble. So that's one of the benefit of having much more pages, which only Figma can offer. Moving to the next one, which is we are done with the sidebar, and which is assets. Whichever asset you are creating like component, you will definitely see it under assets. If you are creating a component, a typography or anything, you will see it under assets. Is it clear?
It's clear.
Yeah. So if you want to display your asset, you can display it in grid format or in list format like this, any way you like. And you can also search for libraries. And the function of for this searching for library is probably maybe you've created a design library for any project you have worked in before. You can just import it and you can open file. Hope you grab. So moving on to the next one, which is the right side sidebar, which is the main deal in this design. You know, I said something about alignment when we were working on the slides, right? It's already 5. Good. I said something about alignment. You can use this button to align to the left, align to the horizontal center. Let me create, okay, for example, this shape. If you click on align to the left, it automatically align to the left side of the what, of the frame or artboard. If it's aligned to the horizontal center, then horizontally it will align to the center. If it's aligned to the right, and if it's aligned to the top, to the vertical center or to the bottom. Can you all see that? And also, that's not all about alignment. Okay, let's now select one or multiple shape, multiple objects. So I've selected 3 objects, right? And then you can click on this very particular part and click on tidy up. Once you click on tidy up, it automatically give it some kind of unique spacing, unique look, and automatically makes it better. That's the work of tidy up. And if you are using, you can see that the spacing between the 3 objects is not equal, and you are clicking on distribute vertical spacing, then you are automatically distributing equal spacing between the objects. Let's now talk about, let me say, horizontal. You know, the spacing between them are not equal, and then you can distribute horizontal spacing too. So the space between these objects will be equal to the space, this object and this object will be equal to the space between this object and this object. I hope that's clear. That's all about the alignment tools and everything. Moving on to the next one, which is the x axis. Whichever object you are working with will always be on the x axis and y axis. For example, this pixel is on 159 pixel from the x axis and 112 pixel from the y axis. Can you all see that? So we also have width and height. We all know that every shape has its own width, every shape has its own height. But if you want to create some kind of, for example, maybe you are creating a shape, you are creating a rectangle and you want to scale it. This rectangle is width of 302 pixel to 109 pixel. But you want to scale it without scaling one side more than the other. You want to give it a certain proportion. Then you can just lock here. This is constraint proportion. So once you lock it and you increase this one to 400, the height too automatically increase to 144. But for example, if you did not lock it, maybe you give this 140, the width won't change, just the height will change. So this one is degree tools. Whenever you want to change the degree, maybe you are increasing the degree by 60 degree, minus 60 degree, 180 or anything. So that's the function of the degree tools. And this one is for border radius. You can see. So once you are increasing it, the border radius for any object increases. And also if I click on this very particular object and I'm increasing the border radius, can you all see how it works? So that's the work of border radius. Moving on to the next tools, which is constraint tools. In the constraint tools, whichever object you are creating will automatically have a constraint of left and top. It will automatically be aligned to the top and to the left. But for example, if you go to your mobile application, you realize that some application has a specific button, like, let me create a button. Yeah, so this is a button. I know that I might be increasing the size of this page, but I want this button to maintain this very particular position. That's when I will come to my constraints, and then I will lock it to the right and to the top. Once I lock it to the right and the top, no matter how much I scale my design, the object will maintain that very particular position that I locked it with. Let's now assume I lock it at the center. Can you all see? No matter how much I scale my artboard, that very particular shape will be locked at the center. So that's the function of constraints. And then some kind of scenarios whereby you want to scroll. Maybe you know that you will be scrolling on your platform and you want this shape to still maintain this very particular position while scrolling. Then you can fix position while scrolling. The position will be fixed and it will automatically move to the top. Whichever how you are scrolling, if you scroll, the position will be there and it will never scroll with the remaining components on the design, or let me say on the artboard. That is the function of fixed position while scrolling. So the next part is layers. You can either make your layers normal, you can make it a pass through one, you can make it darken, multiply, color bomb, but all these are not really needed to me. You only need the pass through attribute for the layers. And this is what I mean by pass through. You can reduce the opacity for 40 pixel. to 40 pixel. And once you reduce the opacity for pass through, all the even if you should group 200 elements together, it will automatically reduce the opacity of the whole group to what? To 40 pixel. That's the 40%. That's the work of pass through layers. So you can either set your layers pass through to any form of opacity, and that's how it works. And you can decide to what? To unseen your layer. Maybe you want to hide it, you don't want to see it for now, or you want to make it occluded. Then you can click on the eye icon to view or unview it. So if you want to fill your design too, for example, you want to fill this, you can fill it with any form of color. And then we have selection colors. Oh, the difference between this fill and selection color, this fill automatically work with background of any form of shape or object. For example, this shape has a fill of this with of D9, 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 D9. So that's about this shape, and it automatically works for the background. But let me now add something else to the shape, like U. I added the U text on the shape and I grouped it. The fill automatically changes because you can't actually fill it. You can't actually fill it since it's actually a group. But let me turn it to a frame selection, like more like an artboard. You can automatically add a fill to it, and whichever fill you add to it will make it change, which is the background. E automatically work with the background. That's how fill work. Fill work with the background. And if you should click on any artboard too, you realize that the fill is F, and you can change it to any form of color. So that's how fill works. Moving to the next one, which is stroke. Stroke is also like border for anything, for your element, for your design component, anything. That's how stroke work. Stroke and border are the same thing, and you can use either center stroke, inside stroke, or outside stroke, but I normally use inside stroke. The difference between inside stroke and outside stroke is inside stroke will automatically form with your component. If I should increase the stroke of this thing to, if I keep on increasing it, it automatically form inside without coming out of the main design component. But if I should change it to outside stroke, can you all see? And if I should change to center, it automatically mask the border. That's the function of stroke. And then when you are talking about stroke, you can either add stroke per side. Maybe you want the stroke at the top, you want the stroke to only show at the top like this. Can you all see? Or you want it to show at the left, or you want it to show at the right, or you want it to show on all. And also you can work more on your stroke by changing the what? The look. For example, this is a dash stroke. Don't let me use this one to you. So for example, maybe you change this one to dash, and then you increase the spacing between the dash. This is a specific type of stroke you can also use. And also you can make your stroke much more curve, creating some kind of border like type. Can you see the stroke now? So that's how to work with stroke and everything. And also you can join stroke, you can do any form of stuff with stroke. So moving to the next one, which is effects. We have 4 type of effects. Number 1 is drop shadow. If you want to create shadow for anything, this is the, you want the shadow to move on an x axis. If you want it to move on an x axis, then you click here. and you will notice that the shadow is moving on the X direction. Next one is Y axis. You can all see. Next one is blur. If you want your shadow to be blur, and next one is spread. Spread and blur are somehow very similar, but it's just as if maybe you created the blur and you want to spread the blur, and you want to spread the blur over a very wide range. That's where you can use the two together, but I don't really use spread, I only use blur in most of my designs. And this is the color for the shadow. You can give the shadow a red color, any form of color, and you can increase the opacity from here. So that's how shadow works, drop shadow. And then we have inner shadow. So for example, I'm creating an inner shadow for this. Are they even following sef? Are you all following me?
Yes.
We are doing our best.
Okay. So for example, I want to create an inner shadow for this very particular shape. If you should go online and check something like neomorphism, neomorphism, yeah, many of you might have come across designs like this. Can you see how classy it is? Yeah, they make use of inner shadows and outside shadows and drop shadows. Let me create an example for you. Give You create the first effect, which is drop shadow, and you give it a 5 pixel on X axis, 5 pixel on Y axis, and give it a 10% blur. You change the opacity of this one to 16 pixel, right? Then you want to create another one. You created another drop shadow, but you give it -5, -5, and you give it 10 pixel blur. Now change it to F and give it an opacity of, let's use 60, and change this one to E. So let's now assume our aim is to create something much more classy like this. Let's now assume we change these two drop shadow into inner shadow. Can you all see how it looks now? This is an inner shadow. Can you all see this shape? Hello, can you all see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, so this is a neomorphic form of design. It's showing in more like a 3D format. That is, you will only see you will think this is actually like a frame, because you can actually see the inside of the frame, how transparent the frame is, and the outside. So that is how neomorphism work. In creating shadows, you using inner shadows and drop shadows for neomorphism. And if you are creating something like, let me say, a music player, just the way this one have, it's very good to use neomorphism. And And we also have something else called glasmorphism, but that one will be later. So, but I just want to use this one to teach you about shadows. And also we have layer blur. Layer blur. If I want to blur this object, I will just increase the layer blur, and that's it.
Sorry for drawing you back. The other shadow, what do you call it? You say remotism. What do you say?
You
Sorry.
don't need to know that one right now. You only need to know drop shadow, inner shadow, layer blur and background blur. That's all you need to know now. But when you are creating design element, you can now apply neomorphism and glassmorphism. But neomorphism is what I actually show you just now, making something look much more like 3D like. Hope is clear.
Yeah, but like this one you use now, is it drop shadow you use or is different? This particular shape you use now to
Yeah,
make it.
for the inner part I use inner shadow, while for the outer part I use drop shadow.
Okay, okay. Okay, I've seen it. Okay.
Are you all seeing? Okay. So, and we also have layer blur. Many of you might have go to maybe gone to some website whereby they will show you. Let me import an image. There is nothing I can really use here. Okay, let me use a text. Okay, like this very particular text, you want it to show in form of, in form of something that is actually standing in the air, then that's where layer blurs come in. You can use 0 pixel and add an effect of layer blur. Increase the layer blur. Oh God, this is too much. So that is what layer blur is used for you to give for you to blur your, let me say, your elements, or you want to create some kind of shadows so that your element can look more like something standing in the air. That's what they actually use layer blur for the most. And you can also use background blur. Background blur, for example, this is red, this is green, this is blue. Probably maybe you now create a shape at the top, you create a shape at the top and you give it opacity of 50 pixel, but you don't want the shapes at the bottom to be showing directly like this. Then you want it to be blurred out, you can use background blur. Once you increase your background blur, can you all see? And this is very useful when you go to some, let me say, web2 websites whereby they will blur out, or let me use glassmorphism. When you are using glassmorphism, card. Okay, yeah. Can you all see this card now? They actually use background blur for this very particular shape so that it can look much more fancy. That's that's what people use background blur for the most in designs. So moving on to the next one, which is export. Whenever you want to export your file, you can export as PNG, JPEG, SVG or PDF, or you can also preview it, preview what you want to export. I hope that is clear. Do you all understand?
I understand.
All right. So we also have prototype, but we won't be moving into prototype. I just want to introduce the Figma interface. So any questions so far before we end the class? So you all understand the whole Figma interface now, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
but I think I'll still need practice.
Huh?
Yes, but I think I'll still need practice maybe after the class to
Definitely,
be sure I
definitely.
actually
So
understand.
the assignment for today is I will share this slide. This is the assignment for today. And also there is an extra assignment for today. You guys will have to create a profile page with the little knowledge that I shared with you just now. I will show you how the profile page will look like. Or let me even go to somewhere. Let me go to Behance. Yeah, you guys should create a profile page like this. No, don't even worry sef, I will get a drip something for you. So I want you guys to clone a profile page.
God, I beg you.
I'm looking for something very easy. See, you guys should just create a profile card like this. Let me show you what I, yeah, like this.